An interesting week in the life of Liverpool, and as always I'm delighted to say that Phil Thompson, to discuss Liverpool, joins us on the line now. Morning to you, Phil.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm flying it, actually. I'm in good old form. I don't know what sort of form you're in after looking at Liverpool on Wednesday night. Were you getting the jitters looking at that defensive effort?
Oh my God, I'm still a little bit twitchy. I was actually covering it. I'm allowed to cover Liverpool in the Champions League, so I was down in the studio and at Sky, and it made uncomfortable watching that last half an hour. Once it went to 3-3, it was, you just felt there was goals coming from both sides, which was very unfortunate to be a Liverpool fan. But there is, and I don't think things have been right from the start. I'm not saying it's dramatically wrong, but I think you don't need to be a pundit, an ex-footballer, to see that some of the defensive frailties have just been popping up in all games that we've played.
Yeah. And like, what is that down to for you? Because like you watch, if there's a specific player, obviously let us know about that. But obviously, I mean, even somebody like Virgil van Dijk you watched the other night, who certainly didn't have the complete performances we're used to looking at from him.
Well, I think Virgil's allowed sort of 30 minutes of a dodgy game, the way he has played. I'm trying to put my finger on it. I don't think we're reacting as much as we did last year. And what I mean by reacting, yes, we play a very high line. That is what any of the good teams will play. You see City doing it. Your keeper is a sweeper keeper. But I just think it's when the ball goes behind, it's the reaction time. And they're looking and they're watching and then they're moving. So then everybody's getting sort of dragged back. I just think we have to be aware is that when we're holding that line, once the ball's gone, you turn and you go. And I think it's confusing because of the VAR. Is the linesman going to put the flag up? Is he not? So I think it's confusing, not just the Liverpool defence, but a lot of defences, how we react once that ball's gone, because you know they're offside. But now all of a sudden, you've got to carry on running just in case, because as I'm talking to you now, I'm confused of when they actually put the flag up and when they don't. And I think some of the linesmen are actually like that. So for players, it's like that. Also, I think Trent and Robbo have probably been this season as they weren't last season. I think they're being more advanced this season and they're pushing on down the flank, as we've seen with that glorious goal that Andy Robertson scored.
Yeah, in terms of that high line, Phil, right? Because I think that obviously they are so susceptible when they play that high line, particularly against the better teams, and obviously in the Champions League, as we've seen it, they're susceptible, obviously, against good opposition. So, like, is that just something they ultimately have to live with and understand that their players, by and large, they can trust their system?
Yeah, and you've got to do that. Listen, it's not something new. It's not new football. It's playing a high line. Back in the 70s and 80s, everybody knew we did that, and we weren't as well drilled, well coached, but we knew exactly what we had to do, and our goalkeeper knew what the defence was doing. But you always knew that you had to react very, very quickly. There was a lot of green grass between you and your goalkeeper, and you've got to do. It's the way your team plays. You have to believe in it. It's what your manager believes in. So all of a sudden you can't sort of just switch off and start playing another way. Manchester City do it very, very well. And I don't think their defenders are as quick as what Liverpool's are. But it makes it for a very exciting football. High press is not just about the front lads making the press. It means that the middle and the back lads have all got to make it very, very condensed.
Yeah, like you mentioned switching off. I listened to and reading some of the comments afterwards. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson as well. Both of them spoke about. One of them spoke about complacency, and the other one spoke about cockiness. And I guess they're maybe two sides of the same coin. But geez, of all the teams to have complacency when they're 3-0 up or down, Liverpool it jarred at me, I have to say, to hear that players would say that they might be complacent even that far ahead.
Yeah, listen, it happens. It doesn't matter who you are. Any of the great teams, whenever you can get that way complacent. I think that's just a little bit of a slight difference between Manchester City and us at the moment, because Manchester City, when they get that advantage, they push it home, as you've seen with the Watford game. They go and go and go. with Liverpool, if we're 2-0 up at half-time, you do see a degree of complacency always fitting in with us. We don't seem to ram it home. We have those bursts where we can score goals in 15, 20-minute spell, but we don't ram it home the way Manchester City do. I'm quite sure probably Manchester City would have won that 6-7 against Salzburg the other night. But we seem to, and we did, and it happens. And you do get, and all of a sudden, and Jürgen was quite right, just seeing it, the impetus getting dragged away from us. And isn't it amazing? I was talking to a few people, that second ball, every second ball kept falling to Salzburg. Every bounce of the ball went to Salzburg. And all of a sudden, you're going, my goodness, what's happening here? And it's given them the drive and the belief that there's something in this for us. And all of a sudden, it's draining that little bit of confidence out of Liverpool. Listen, we're going on talking about this, a team who's gone seven league games unbeaten this season. We've been beaten once by Napoli. And we're making it sound as though there's problems. I wish we had these problems many, many years ago.
Yeah. Look, it's fair enough. And we do tend to focus on the negative, so I appreciate that. Will you bear with me on one more before we move on to talk a little bit more about Leicester in a bit more detail? Joe Gomez, is he a weak link for you in that defence?
No, Joe's not. Joe's an absolutely... He had an exceptional first half the other day, and he was helping me with the rest of the team. And he's good at playing the high line because he's quick and he's fast. But we went sort of, it's 3-1 at half time, and not just him, everybody was as guilty of a bit of complacency. But Joe has not played as many games, and I think that was just rustiness with Joe in the second half. But I think he's an absolutely tremendous prospect. And we'd all be clamouring for him back into Liverpool side, only Matip has been quite extraordinary with his performances. So it's no problem with Joe Gomez. Okay.
The looking at Liverpool the other night, and even we've been discussing obviously 3-0 then 3-3. Like even looking at that, there was certainly an element to me that was thinking if this front, like I actually thought at that point, right, Liverpool are just going to turn around again now and score again, and that's what happened. Talk to us about the form of Mo Salah. Obviously took the winner really well, looked very sharp at times, beautiful skills, particularly in the first half when Liverpool were very much on top. Where is he at now, Phil, versus where he would have been at his prime, in his prime at Liverpool?
I do still think he's got another gear to step up to, and I think that even with Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane, they've been playing in bursts this season. I think Bobby Firmino's probably been the most consistent out of them all. He's really played well. But I just think that there's, at the moment, and it's when we get in front, we just don't seem to be at our sharpest. You see some of the chances against Sheffield United, Mo and Sadio, just not as sharp as what we thought that they would be. I just think I absolutely believe that it's a good place to be. Because if we can be seven games unbeaten, and these guys haven't hit top form yet, I think, my goodness, we've got a really good team. And I've no problems with the lads. We've been there. Mo went through this last year. People were saying, he's not going to do it. But you look at his goal return, it's still very, very high. And I think they're going to do it. And I think Sadio in the last 12 months has been absolutely incredible.
What sort of reception is Brendan Rodgers going to get?
I'd like to think, and I really hope that Brendan gets a good reception. I don't think he did a great deal wrong. It's just maybe that he got a little bit thinking we were better than what we were, and we just stalled instead of pushing on. I've got no complaints with Brendan. I thought he did an absolutely superb job for Liverpool. He's a great coach. I think he's a great motivator in his way. He's not like a shouting and screamer that we see on the touch. Even if I say a little bit like Jürgen, the way he is, but Brendan's passionate of what he believes in. I was sort of privy to sit down with him in his office and go through some tactics on a board when Liverpool were playing really well with Sterling, Suarez, Sturridge, Steven Gerrard, and it was fascinating how he was doing things on his board, showing me how he creates space in the middle for others to come from maybe a wide position into that position between midfield and a team's defence. I was watching all this unfold. I thought, my goodness, this this is really sort of quite unique how he does it. And you're seeing these Leicester players now sort of tapping into that and believing in them. And I don't think they ever totally believed in Claude Puel. It just wasn't there, and he was stuck in between of what he actually wanted and what the players actually were good at. And Brendan's tapped into that. They're still now doing the possession what Claude Puel had, but now there's an edge to it. Now he's given the players a belief is, yes, well, I know what you all want, and you want that ball through and over the top or in between centre-backs and full-backs. I can give you that, but believe in what I'm trying to do. And you can see they believe in him.
Yeah, an interesting read with him actually this morning, and touches on some of those topics with Jamie Carragher in the Telegraph this morning, and he talks one thing that I hadn't appreciated, that Jurgen Klopp has moved into his house, which was not a...
Oh yeah, it's well known that over here.
He talks about on the playing front, like some of the mix of the young and the old, like the James Maddisons, Ben Chilwell, Harvey Barnes, and then obviously some of the senior players that are there. How are you concerned about this game tomorrow, Phil, particularly some of that pace of that Leicester front line?
Well, you always do. I love Jamie Vardy for what he brings to the side. You know, you cannot take away somebody's passion that he has for the game. And when you've got him, he's so fast. He's maybe not the most skillful build-up playing things like that, but my goodness, he doesn't give you the minute's rest. And so I appreciate him. Maddison, I think he's going to be a really top player because he's got that ability. He sees a pass. He's got that little bit of a passion. He wins fouls. He wins penalties. So he's learned the Jamie Vardy way. So Liverpool have to be aware of that. But not just then, it's Ndidi and Tielemans in midfield. These boys have got they've got ability, they've got passing, and then they've got the experience of Johnny Evans at the back and Soyuncu, the centre-back. I've done a couple of games of Leicester's. He's been absolutely terrific. Made one big mistake in one of the games. I think it was Man United to give away a penalty. But he has been... So they've got a rock-solid centre-back pair in there. And the two full-backs are as good as maybe a top 14, put it that way.
Yeah. Just before we let you go, Phil, you must be very upset at the continuing decline of Manchester United.
The what, mate? Sorry?
The continuing decline of your near neighbours, United.
Well, I think they know where they are at the moment, and it's extremely difficult for them. It was a difficult match last night. I know people have got they're moaning about the pitch. Maybe they went on too much about the pitch, and you've got to try and take that away from the players. But it is difficult to go and play on that. People say, that's for both sides. No, they play on it on a regular basis, and that's the difference in it. So a draw was probably all right for Manchester United, but looking short-term, long-term, I think it's going to be a rocky road, and I think Manchester United fans have got used to that now. It's not the Manchester United that we've known for many, many years. I think we've understood that. But I think there's been a lot which has gone on behind the scenes, which is not looking to develop. The recruitment has not happened as it should have been.
Yeah. All right. Phil, pleasure as always. Enjoy the football of the weekend.
Great stuff, Adrian. Bye-bye, mate.
Cheers. Phil Thompson on the line there, ahead of the weekend's Premier League.